So now that we're officially back into school, by now you should probably have the clothes right. You should have all your accessories, pretty much everything that you need, right? But let's be real, most people in school forget one thing, and that is going to be colognes. Obviously, I'm a big believer if you look good, you feel good, but I definitely think that if you smell good, you feel even better. Honestly, one of my favorite compliments is when somebody tells me that I smell good. So if you want to get that compliment in this back to school season, I got you covered with the best colognes for the back to school season. All of these are going to be very fresh, subtle, perfect for school, because I definitely believe that there are some colognes that, don't get me wrong, are great, but just not a good option for going to school. And let's be real, most guys don't know how to even put on cologne. If you're one of those guys that puts way too much cologne, trust me when I say this, 3 to 4 sprays max. Alright, so with the first cologne on the list, it's going to be a little bit more of an underrated one, and that is going to be by Issey Miyake. Now, I feel like I did a pretty good job at saying the designer right, but when it comes to the actual name, I'm not even going to try to pronounce it, but I'm definitely going to leave it right here. Now, this one, in my opinion, is one of the most subtle ones out of the list. So obviously, it smells good. I'm definitely not going to be putting any cologne that doesn't smell good. So that's obviously a given, but I will say, I feel like this one has the cleanest scent to it. I'm definitely not qualified to be talking about the actual lists and notes about colognes, but obviously, I'm a little bit biased, but I will say that I have a pretty good taste, especially considering that I honestly do get quite a few compliments about how good I smell. But I will say, if you want something subtle, this would be a great option. All right, the next one is going to be Prada Carbon. This one I talk about so much because it's honestly one of my go-to colognes. And the reason why I like this one so much, and the reason why I recommend it the most for anybody going back to school or any teenager, is because this is one of the most versatile ones, because you could dress this up, you could dress this casually. Literally doesn't really matter what you're wearing, doesn't really matter where you're going. This is always going to be a great option. Of course, as always, the notes are going to be right here, and the price is going to be right here as well, for those of you guys who are wondering. And before you look at the price and say, whoa, that's way too expensive, I definitely agree with you. When I was in high school, I remember first trying to get into colognes, but then I saw that the one that I wanted was over $100, and I thought there was no way I'm spending $100 on one cologne. In fact, my first cologne over $100 was after high school, but I wish I was wearing these colognes in high school. And you gotta keep in mind, colognes are gonna last you a long time, especially if I'm telling you only 3 to 4 sprays maximum. These should last you quite a long time. All right, the next one is gonna be a top 3 in my personal collection, and that is going to be Acqua Di Gio Parfum. This one is the most aquatic, the most best smelling one in my collection. Okay, probably not the best, but definitely one of my personal favorites. And this one's definitely top 3 most complimented ones in my personal collection. Every time I wear this one out, I always get compliments, whether it's girls telling me I smell good, or it's guys wondering which cologne I'm wearing so they can get it for themselves. In person, when it comes to people around me, I'm the biggest gatekeeper ever. I'll probably come up with something like, oh, honestly, I don't really know which one I'm wearing, I forgot. That's a complete lie. I kind of like to keep these things to myself when it comes to the people around me. But considering this is what I do for a living, of course I gotta put you on the best ones, especially because none of you guys are gonna be around me, so I don't really care too much. That's a complete joke, I'm playing. I love all you guys. But yeah, honestly, out of the entire list, this has to be one of my favorites. Like I said, the last one was top 3, but let's talk about another one in my top 5, and that is going to be Polo Bleu Parfum. This one is more of a newer one. This one honestly recently came out within the last year or two, but this is also pretty similar to the last one just because it's very aquatic, it's very fresh. Those are the only notes I can give off the top of my head, but here's a list if you're wondering. But for example, the last ones that I mentioned, like Prada Carbon or Acqua Di Gio, of course these are very common ones. So if you are worried about your colognes kind of being grouped in with all the rest of the guys because they're popular colognes, this one is one of the more newer ones on the list. So if you are worried about that and you want something that probably most guys aren't going to be wearing, this is definitely a good option. Yes, a lot of guys have these colognes and they wear it here and there, but you got to keep in mind that colognes in general are not as popular as you think. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're in high school, most guys don't even wear cologne. So even having any of these colognes is going to put you on the top when it comes to the best smelling guys at your school. So yeah, that's a little something to keep in mind. So another very subtle one, if you don't want something too strong, if you just want to smell good without attracting too much attention, Dolce Gabbana K is going to be a very good option because it's subtle. This one I could wear and I definitely won't worry about giving anybody a headache. Or if you're worried that you put on cologne and that's the only thing people around you are going to be smelling, I definitely get why that would be a concern. So if you don't want to be stuck in a situation like that, Dolce Gabbana K is going to be a good option. All right, another very common one, but it's a classic, one of the best smelling colognes out there. So yes, it's popular, but definitely for a reason, and that is going to be Bleu de Chanel Parfum. A lot of guys start off with this cologne, and like I said, it's for a good reason. This one smells amazing. It's versatile. You don't have to worry about it smelling too strong, but it definitely smells amazing. In fact, this one was one of my first 5 colognes in my list. Keep in mind, right now I have about 20 colognes, and of course the list is still growing, but out of all those colognes, this is definitely one that I wear a lot of, and it's because I always get compliments with it. Everyone loves the smell of it, and like I said, it's for a good reason. Honestly, now that I think about it, I kind of wish that I got the bigger version. As soon as this one runs out, definitely gonna get a new one. Now, all the colognes that I just mentioned, the normal bottles are all over $100, and like I mentioned earlier, yes, I completely understand. If you think that's expensive, I completely agree with you. I thought I would never buy buy a cologne for $100, and here I am. I have about 20 colognes now. But if you simply just don't have the budget for it, don't even worry about it. There are colognes out there that smell amazing for very cheap. For example, Nautica Voyage, only $30. However, since it's so cheap and because it smells so good, it's a very common one as well. I remember seeing somewhere that Nautica Voyage is one of the most popular ones for high schoolers just because it's so cheap. It definitely smells good. You're definitely going to get noticed with it, but keep in mind a lot of guys are going to be wearing it. But in my opinion, the best affordable option is going to be Scentbird. No, this video is not sponsored by Scentbird, even though I wish it was. I've been using Scentbird for some time now, and if you don't know what it is, pretty much the colognes that I mentioned that are over $100, or even other colognes that are like $250, $300. With Scentbird, you only pay $15 a month, and they'll send you a little sample pack of it. But what I do like is normal sample packs are tiny. These definitely won't last you long. Now that's a sample pack that you will get for buying an actual cologne. But when it comes to Scentbird, for $15 a month, you'll get a bigger bottle, but it's not going to last you very long. In fact, I'm running out myself. But it is a good option if you are on a budget, and honestly, it's a good way to start getting into cologne. So you can definitely find out your style with Scentbird. But yeah, anyways, these are the best colognes to start wearing to school. Like I said, all of these, you won't be giving anybody a headache. The people around you won't be complaining as long as you don't wear it too much. If you've never tried colognes before, definitely start with any of these. But anyways, I hope this video did help you out, and if it did, make sure to leave a like. I would really appreciate it. And if you haven't subscribed already, in this channel I simplify men's fashion, so I'm gonna leave a button for you to do that right here. And if you want to see more videos right away, here are a few that I think could really help you out. But anyways, other than that, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.